Hey everybody, welcome back to RC Insiders. Today we're going to be changing a motor on a Traxxas Slash 2-wheel drive. Should take you about 15 minutes. It's not a big deal. It's not easy, not hard. You can do it. You're going to need, cool thing with Traxxas is they always supply you with tools to work on the car. You can use the little 4-way lug and the Allen wrench provided. I prefer using a 7mm hex bit with a driver, just a little easier. A 5/64 hex bit instead of the Allen wrench, but you can use whatever you want. So the first step is we're going to take off the right rear wheel. And of course you're going to need a new motor. You can pick this up on Amazon for about 20 bucks. We're going to just put the stock motor back in it. Keep your parts safe. Don't lose anything. Very important. Remove that wheel. I'm just going to take the wheel and use it as a prop, kind of like a jack. Make sure when you take your wheel off, you'll see there's a little washer right there. Make sure it doesn't come off with the wheel. Don't lose it. Next, we're going to remove the gearbox cover. Like I said, you can use the little Allen wrench provided. I prefer the Torx bits, they're just easier to work with. Hex bits. You're going to have 2 screws. One on the top, one on the bottom. Can you see it in there? Take the bottom one right out. Keep them safe, guys. Don't lose them. And then the top one. Now if you notice, there's 2 different size screws. Okay? The shorter one needs to go back on the bottom. The longer one needs to go back on the top of your gearbox cover. Okay? Don't forget, it's very important. Get those off to the side, safe place. And take the gearbox cover off. We don't have to worry about taking the bumper off, which is cool. Keep that off to the side. So now what we're going to do, before you start anything, make sure your battery is not connected. Completely disconnect your battery. Just go ahead and take it right out of the car so you don't have to worry about it. Now we're going to disconnect the electric going to the motor. These can be a pain in the ass when you're taking them apart, so be careful. You don't want to rip your wire, just more repairs for you to do. Red's your positive, black of course is your negative. Like I said, guys, just be careful when you're taking it apart, because you start ripping stuff like that, you're going to be heading to the hobby store and you're going to spend a whole day trying to put it back together. Move those out of the way. Now you got 2 screws that hold in the motor. That's all you got here. Remove your bottom screw, same size bit. And of course you can always use the Allen wrenches that Traxxas provide you, so you don't have to go buy nothing special to do this. That bottom screw right out. And then the top screw. Just hold the motor from the back. You don't even really have to remove that screw. And then just slide your motor out. That way when you put your motor back in, that screw's already there. You can line it up. That's the old motor. We fried it by kind of treating the Slash as a submarine, driving it through a bunch of water and mud, but it still lasted a real long time, so we're happy with this motor. So we're just putting a stock motor back in. But the Slash is not a submarine. It is waterproof, but it is not a submarine, guys. Okay, on the motor, you're going to see your pinion gear. And there's a small little grub screw right there. Okay? I'm going to use Traxxas' little Allen wrench. I'm going to loosen that up. Hopefully it's on there tight. Just loosen enough to where it'll slide right off your pin. If you see there's a little flat spot on the pin, when you put it back on, that grub screw line, you put it right on the flat spot. Okay? Pin has a little flat spot right on the top. Grub screw goes on the flat spot when you put it back together. Since you got it open anyway, now's a good time to check out your spur gear. See how the teeth look. These are still looking pretty good. Wipe up any little dirt or whatever you got in there since you got it open anyway. Got it open, it's just a good time to inspect stuff. Everything looks good in here. Alright, next we're going to put in the new motor. Nice and shiny. Titan 12.2 550 modified motor. Stock, same stock motor that came with the Slash. Just looks unbeat up. I'm going to go ahead and grab a toothpick real quick. I want to clean some of the gunk out of these gear teeth. Since you got it open, you might as well just take a few minutes and clean some of the gunk out of in between your gears. This ain't too bad. Line the grub screw up right here with the flat spot on the shaft. Put it on there. We're just going to tighten it. We're not going to tighten it too much because we're going to have to make some little adjustments once we get the motor in. Just want it on there enough so it doesn't fall off. If you'll notice on the back of your old motor, there was a small black spacer plate. Make sure we take that off. Slip it over to pinion gear and right onto the new one. Now if you'll notice, there's a little protrusion right there in the hole in the middle. So that is going to be on the bottom of the motor. And the reason for this Traxxas has put this on here so you don't have to reset the mesh on the gears. So that little protrusion, when it's on the inside, is going to sit right in that slot, if you can see it, and that'll set the mesh up with the gears, the pinion and the spur gear. Okay, so right now I got my bit and the top screw. I'm going to take that plate off. This just makes it easier. And I want to attach that plate to the back side first with the top screw. Just get it hooked on your finger. Okay. You see that little protrusion fits right perfectly in that slot. Now we're going to take the motor and go from the back side, get our pinion gear through, and just spin that motor until you find the hole for that screw. Should feel it starting to tighten up. Okay, the reason we left that little grub screw a little bit loose is because now we're going to make an adjustment. So look over here from the back side, looking down. You're going to want to push that pinion gear into the spur gear until you're lined up perfectly. Like that. And then we're going to go ahead and tighten that little grub on the pinion gear. Alright, now you got your little set grub screw tightened. And go ahead and put the bottom screw in that little slot. Nice and tight, but don't strip them. Don't over tighten them. Sure everything's turning. Looks good. Alright, cool. Next up, we're going to get that gearbox cover. I'm going to put that back on. If you remember, we had two different size screws. Got a short one and one a little bit longer. And the longer one goes on the top. Shorter one goes down on the bottom. You can see why it's a lot easier working with a driver than using those little Allen wrenches. But it can be done. Trust me, I know. We've done it. And get these fairly tight. Don't over tighten them. Just keeping the dirt and debris and stuff out of the gearbox. You get really fancy, you get one that ratchets. Alright, where are we at? Next, I think what I want to do is put a battery in and get this motor hooked up before we go too far. Make sure it works. Red to red, black to black, just like it. Put the motor together. Grab a controller. Love this controller. Turn it on. Just gonna hold it up in the air a little bit. And just lightly pull the trigger. Sweet. Back off. Controller off. Let's go ahead and disconnect the battery again until we're done working on it. All we got left to do is put the tire back on. Notice the hex shape on the nut. You just line that, make sure it's lined up with the hex shape on the inside of the rim. Nice. Put your nut back on. Here's your four-way or your driver. And there you have it, guys. Should only take you about 15-20 minutes. If it takes you an hour, who cares? You're doing something you love, right? And that is how you put a new motor in a Traxxas Slash. Goodbye, old motor. Hello, nice shiny new motor. Alright, we're going to take it out later today and hit the trails with it and do a little bashing, so look for that video soon. We hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked it, hit that like button and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.